What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. How is everybody doing today? You know what? It was a little bit of delay there because we're trying out like OBS, which you do like a bit technical already. I know we're only seconds into the stream, but I was trying out something a little bit different and it wasn't working. So it was a little bit of delay. It's not KG's fault this time. Miraculously, it's a bit of late list that isn't KG's fault. You know what? It's a bit of a myth, actually, that KG's always late all the time because he's not. He's not. It's always fun to blame stuff on him. It's always fun to blame stuff on him. But look, guys, welcome back. Hope you're having a great Friday, as always. Let me know where you're watching from. I've already seen some people in the chat today that have been saying where they're watching from, so let me know where you're watching from. We've got Soups saying driving test today. Wish me luck. Good luck, everyone in the chat. Wish Soups good luck with the driving test today. Good luck with that, absolutely. Let's see where you're watching from in the chat. I could already see some from before. Steve Wright says Colchester in the house. Lucius, or was that Lucius? Says New Zealand in the house. Ryan Hamilton says Stretford End. So exactly. But look, guys, welcome. Hope you're having a great Friday, as always. Smash a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. There is quite a few things to talk about today. Paul Pogba. I mentioned this before. Paul Pogba, it wouldn't be an international break without talking about Paul Pogba, and we said this a little bit like as a joke before we went on the international break, like, because sometimes you talk when you're a Manchester United fan, you say to yourself, look, international breaks, I mean, some people I guess like them. For me, I'm one of those people. I'm a club guy. I like club football. I like international football when it gets to the major tournaments. When it gets to stuff like the qualifiers or friendlies or anything like that, it's always just a bit, it always just feels a bit of an inconvenience, to be honest with you. So every time these international breaks come up, it's always like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? Especially when it comes to United and how things ended last week with the draw against Everton and the loss previously against Aston Villa and, you know, scraping past Villarreal, etc. There was kind of a feeling of, is there going to be a lot of negativity that we're kind of ruminating on, if you will, when we come into this international break? And as a joke, it was kind of said, well, we'll have to talk about Paul Pogba because every single time there's an international break, what do we talk about? Paul Pogba. And that isn't because we've got this obsession. I mean, the media just have a bit of an obsession with him, I guess. But we always talk about Paul Pogba because Paul Pogba or Mino Raiola, every time there's an international break, have to talk about the future, have to talk about contracts, have to talk about staying at Manchester United, leaving Manchester United. And just last night, we did a late night view. It was Flex, myself, Jack, DJ. We're all talking about Paul Pogba privately. He's no longer hiding his desire. He wants to stay at Manchester United. He's been telling his French teammates, he's been telling his close friends, I want to stay at Manchester United. And then what do we get? Just 24 hours later, less than that, just hours later, and I mentioned it on the stream last night that this is a bit too much on one side for Paul Pogba. He's going to have to level this out because it can change at the moment's drop like that. And that's exactly what happened. Now he's teasing, well, I still could go back to Juventus, you know. I do like it in Italy. I do really like it in Italy. It's just all the time. It's great. Like James says, it's getting boring at this stage. Groundhog Day. Exactly. I feel like Bill Murray again. I mean, feeling like a Manchester United fan over the course of the last few years does feel like being Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. The alarm goes off. I can't remember what the song that plays in it. You can let me know in the live chat. He smashes the alarm clock, opens the paper. It says on the front of it, Paul Pogba, contract, decision, or hint, exit hint, staying hint. It's a little bit of it gets tweaked, but it's pretty much the same thing every single day. That's all it is. Things guaranteed to happen. Death, taxes, Raiola making people talk about Pogba on international breaks. That is literally it. It feels like every single time when we go on an international break, it's just, that's all it is. It's Paul Pogba talking about his future. Maybe that's why, like, it makes me wonder, when Paul Pogba does eventually either leave or sign a new Manchester United contract, like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? We're going to have nothing to talk about because Paul Pogba would have either signed a contract, well, he will have signed one either way. It's either going to be with us or with someone else. But anyway, here's the quote. So after the match last night, he was asked, obviously it was in Italy, and he said, quote, I still talk to my old Juventus teammates. I'm at Manchester United and I have a year left on my contract. I want to finish the season with my club, then we'll see. And I was talking, to Flex about this earlier on, and we were kind of saying that Paul Pogba's not the guy, in fairness. He's not the guy that really, I think maybe he said it once do you remember when he was in China and he was in that trip in China and he spoke to a journalist and he said, I want to try different challenges. I want to try different things. He did that kind of once. But apart from that, he's never been the guy to come out ultimately and just go, you know what, I want to leave Manchester United. I want to leave. I don't want to be here anymore. He's never done that. And I don't think he ever will. He also is not the guy to stay, I really want to stay here, I'm committing the future, I see myself here in 2-3 years, because he's never really done that either. And this has always been my thought process on Pogba. I mentioned it yesterday. I don't see the Pogba thing getting resolved until the end of the season. And I don't actually blame him for that. It must be said. I don't blame him for that. We see how volatile things are at Manchester United at the moment in terms of we win a couple of games and it's like, and then you start looking around and you see Ronaldo, you see Jadon Sancho, you see Rafael Varane, you see Bruno Fernandes, you see Rashford coming back and you go, I tell you what, we might be onto something here, you know. We've got a lot of really, really good players here. This is the strongest squad that I've played in since I came back to Old Trafford. Man, we might be onto something here. And then we win a couple of games and he's thinking, sign a contract? Absolutely, sign me up because we're on to success. And then, you know, we lose in the Champions League to Young Boys. We lose in the Premier League against Aston Villa. We drop points against Everton. You start looking around at the other clubs like Chelsea, like City, like Liverpool. And then you start going, actually, even though we've got these players, do we have the right setup here? Do we have the right manager? Do we have the right coaching staff? Do we have the right tactics? And again, that's why I don't think he's thinking at this. I think he's thinking at this point, you know what? I'm just going to keep my options open. And that's his right, and I don't necessarily blame him for doing that. Ultimately, look, we're Manchester United fans. What would we want? We would want Paul Pogba, his contract barely even to come up as a discussion point. We'd rather just be like, he's got 18 months left. He goes, of course I'll stay. Sign a contract, boom, boom, boom. We'd never even talk about this. But that's not Paul Pogba. That's not Mino Raiola. That's never been the case with them. And I've always said that I think it'll be a case with Pogba. I don't think he'll sign anything before the end of this calendar year. I think it'll be a case of maybe January, maybe even going to the end of the season. I really do think he's going to keep his options open. I think he's going to see, look, come January, come April, May, wherever it may be, I'm going to see where Manchester United are. If in January I feel like we're in a really good position and we are, you know, within distance or within touching distance of the top of the league, or we're looking stronger in some cup competitions, whatever that may be, or maybe we even have a different coach. I don't know. Maybe he's going to go, you know what, things can change quite quickly. So I'll wait and see. If come January or come the end of the season, we are so far behind Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, we went out of the Champions League in the group stage or whatever, we got embarrassed, then maybe I'll have a different decision to make. And I think that's the situation when it comes to Pogba. I think also as well, and we spoke about this last night too, options aren't there that were there 18 months to 2 years ago. Previously, if Paul Pogba's contract had come up, he would obviously be suited by Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, PSG. He'd have a plethora of options to him, Bayern Munich. That's not really the case now. The pandemic's kind of changed everything. Finances in Europe for big European teams are completely different. We're kind of fortunate when it comes over here in the UK in the Premier League, because the Premier League has got so much money invested into it. And I don't just mean by owners and by, you know, whatever it may be, backers. The clubs themselves, just being in the Premier League, the TV licensing fees, the revenue they get just by being in the Premier League, the big broadcast deals that the Premier League have, mean that these Premier League clubs can still spend an extortionate amount of money despite being in a pandemic where we know the economy has kind of just the arse has fallen out of it. So because of that, it's only really these big Premier League sides, apart from your likes of your PSGs who have just, they're state funded essentially, so of course they can offer big contracts, but it's only really these Premier League sides that can really offer those big ginormous wages. Yes, Real Madrid can give like David Alaba, was it something ridiculous like 400k a week, but their model's always been like every summer it's going to be one, and next summer it looks like it's going to be Mbappe. That's their focus. And PSG, they're going to be focused on either keeping Mbappe, or if Mbappe goes, they're going to try and replace him and they're going to go on something else. So I think, again, my feeling always has been when it comes to Paul Pogba that it won't get decided anytime soon. It's a situation whereby it's just going to rumble on, and that's the Pogba saga. It's a saga. It will continue on and on. I think, is there another international break after this one? I think the last one before the end of the year. It will come up again. If Paul Pogba plays well in an upcoming game, it will come up again. If he starts playing badly, it'll because his eyes been distracted, his eyes wandered, and it's going elsewhere, and he's looking at another club. This is the Pogba saga that we've come used to. And I mentioned it before, that the moment that fans, or certainly Manchester United, feel like they've got a leg up on the situation, or they feel like, actually, you know what, we've got him. Things are starting to be a bit more simple. Things are starting to feel a bit more like we know what's going to happen. Then Mino Raiola and Pogba look at that and go, well, that's leverage that we don't have anymore. Let's just throw something out there once again. I like Italy. I could come back to Italy. I still talk to my Juventus teammates. That's the game they're playing. It's a negotiation game. So it is what it is. But I want to know your feelings on the situation. I saw this on social media at United View TV. Give us a follow there. Do you think he'll sign the contract or a contract extension before the end of this calendar year? Or like myself, do you think it's something that is likely going to happen if it does happen in January or in April, May, June, July? Maybe it's going to go right down to the wire. I really could see it going right down to the wire. As David Lee says, by the way, guys, hit that like button, please. I'll do a quick check on how many likes we're on. I don't know how many likes we're on. I'll do a double check. We're on only 34. There's 100 people watching. Let's see if we can get it up to 100 likes. So smash a like on the like button. Adam Ittman says, I love Pogba, but I can't wait to see the back of him due to Raiola. In general, I dislike Raiola's players due to the circus that comes with them. You know what is interesting about that comment? And it's because I've seen this a couple of times. I was quite surprised. For me, it's a bit like the Sir Alex Ferguson thing when he was talking to Khabib the other day. I want to have the best players possible at the club. Paul Pogba, there's no doubting his ability. He's a world-class player. He's an astounding player. And look, there's obviously discussions on consistency on his day. He can't do it all. They're all valid and fair criticisms. But Paul Pogba's a quality player, and I want to have the best players possible at Manchester United. The issue is, and I've said this before, that we've made our bed when it comes to Mino Raiola, and unfortunately we have to lie in it. We've got to deal with this guy. And we've identified Erling Haaland as a real key target for us next season. We want to sign Erling Haaland alongside a defensive midfielder, or a game-changing defensive midfielder. That's what we want to do. And I don't think United, or certainly they feel, and again, Mino Raiola knows this, I don't think Manchester United are in a position right now essentially to piss Mino Raiola off. I don't think they are. I think they realise, look, if we leave a really bad taste in this guy's mouth, which, by the way, he deserves, because we know what a parasite he is and just what a scumbag he is. We know that about him, but he's also the agent of Erling Haaland, who we desperately want. And that's kind of the situation whereby you can absolutely see Mino Raiola going, you know what? You messed me about. You messed me, my client around. You didn't give me what I wanted, or Paul Pogba what he wanted. Erling Haaland, he's not coming to you. I've got the power to make that happen. Now, maybe Erling Haaland might want to come to Manchester, I don't know, but he's going to have a plethora of options next summer. Every single big club in Europe is going to make an offer for Erling Haaland. And if Mino Raiola says to Erling Haaland, oh, they messed me around when it comes to Paul Pogba, not happening. That's, then that's the situation United are going to be in. And I think United know that as well. So it goes back to this sort of weird sort of game of leverage that we're playing at the moment when it comes to Pogba and Mino Raiola. And I'm like you. I see it. I roll my eyes. It's frustrating. I have seen fans that are they're kind of just over the whole situation in general, and they're like, right, just get rid of him. Get rid of him. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the saga. He's not actually that good, or all this kind of stuff. Again, I just lean on the side of I want to have the best players at the club. I also want to have the players at the club that want to be there, and that's another side of it too. The Francie Brady says, if you have to say on his day, he's not world class. I mean, and that's a fair point. It's a fair point, and it's a point that a lot of people point out when it comes to Paul Pogba, is that if you have to say, because I say this as well about players that aren't fit all the time. You used to have this conversation about Jack Wilshere. When you say how Arsenal fans go, Jack Wilshere is world class. If he can just stay fit, he's world class. And I would just say, well, if he can't stay fit, then unfortunately that means he's not world class. World class players stay fit. And you could argue it is the same thing. It's the same thing when it comes to Paul Pogba, that if you have to say, on his day, consistency, blah, 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 is he world class? And again, that's a point that Manchester United fans say when it comes to this whole contract negotiation thing of, he's not worth the hassle. He's not worth the hassle. And again, it's a really interesting thing, and you can talk about this for ages when it comes to Paul Pogba. You really can, whether or not he's worth it, whether or not he's worth the hassle. By all accounts, when it comes to Pogba, look, he's not a negative influence in the dressing room. I don't think, if you ask Jose Mourinho, he is. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's never come out and seemingly had a problem with Paul Pogba. Seemingly none of the players have an issue with Paul Pogba either. I would love to know what the reaction is when these kind of things come out in the dressing room. You know what I mean? In the same thing like before we played Leipzig last season and that whole Raiola-Pogba thing came out. I would love to know what the dressing room said to Pogba, if anything, if they said, look, because this would be a captain's responsibility. If you're Harry Maguire, this is when you take Pogba aside and you go, look, that's unacceptable. We've got a big game. This distracts us from the game. Either have a word with your agent or we've got to have a massive problem. We're going to have a massive problem here because I'm representing Manchester United and you're distracting us from where we need to be. But I don't know if that's happened or not. And again, it's those kind of things that we just don't really know about. And yeah, it's just a saga. That's kind of my feeling on it. I don't know what your guys' feeling is. It's just a saga. And as I mentioned before, do you think he will sign? Do you think he will sign a contract before the end of the calendar year? Or do you think it's just going to continue to play out like a never-ending story? Adam Owen says, I agree with you, Owen. He is world-class, but sadly, we have allowed agents too much power in football. I think we know that, don't we? Mustic K says, Pogba enjoys keeping people on their toes. I think that's a part of it too. I really do. I think Pogba likes to have people guessing. I think Pogba and Raiola like to have the attention. I think they like to have the media talking about them. And again, I think it's a case of leverage. I think they look at it and they say, we need to still have a bit of leverage. We need to keep Manchester United guessing. And we need to... But then the thing I don't get with that is, by all accounts, there has been a contract offer on the table since July. And it's something like 400k a week. He would be one of the highest paid players in the Premier League. I don't think he'd be the highest paid player at the club, so I think Ronaldo will be on more. And if he's asking for Ronaldo money, then I would say that's outrageous because you're not Cristiano Ronaldo, unfortunately, Paul Pogba. You're not. And we'll talk about Ronaldo in a second. And if that offer's on the table, it would make you wonder, what else is he leveraging for? What is he trying to get that he hasn't got already? Or is it just a case of every single time he gets close to signing the contract with Manchester United, is it just a case of Raiola going, let's just double check one more time to see what's out there? Or is it just a money thing? I think it's more, let's keep checking what's out there, because every single time he's been offered out there, certainly in the last, let's say, 12 months, there hasn't been anything. There hasn't. They offered him out to PSG in the summer. Certainly Raiola was trying to offer him out to PSG, and they didn't bite. They threw the bait out there, and they didn't bite because PSG were focused on Messi. Once they got Messi in, it was a case of FFP, and they were like, we need to get people out, not bring more people in. They were already doing their summer transfer window madness, whether it was Donnarumma, Ramos, Messi, etc. So they weren't interested in Pogba. And when it came to people like Juventus were happy to see Ronaldo go, not because, he's past his peak or anything like that. Just won Player of the Month, by the way. But it wasn't a case of Juventus were happy to see Ronaldo go. They were happy to see Ronaldo go in the sense that his wages were so big because they couldn't afford it. If Paul Pogba was asking for 400k, they really want 400k back at the club? So that's kind of my feeling when it comes to Juventus. Like, have they even got that money? I don't think they have. Barcelona, they're on the corner of the street with a tin cup asking for loose change because they got no money. They could let go Messi, for goodness sake, because they couldn't physically keep him there because of financial fair play and league wage cap restriction rules. So that's not happening either. Real Madrid, it's a possibility. But again, Mbappe, we know that deal's happening too, or could be happening too. So where are the options? There aren't any, really. So Newcastle, I guess, 700k a week. So I don't know. I just feel like it's an ongoing saga. I really do. And I don't think we've seen the end of it. I don't. But hey, look, it's going to be one of those things continue. If we've got another international break, then we're going to get another Pogba story, unfortunately. And it's just, you roll your eyes, don't you? You roll your eyes when you see it. You go, okay, here we go again. And it's kind of like, again, we joked about it yesterday when we said that he wants to stay, and I went, well, tomorrow he won't. And guess what? He didn't. And it's not because I'm Nostradamus, it's because they've done it time and time again. We're going to talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This one's going to be quite brief today, guys. We're probably going to go about 30 minutes or so. So we've got about 10 more minutes. And John Murto spoke to a fan forum, and once again, unsurprisingly, backed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've seen Manchester United back him in terms of handing out contracts to Mike Phelan, contracts extensions to Kieran McKenna and Michael Carragher coming as well. And we heard that news from Fabrizio Romano, etc., come out where they've said that United aren't looking at any other managers. They believe in Solskjaer. They believe in the project. They believe in the coaching staff, etc., etc. And Manchester United, once again, have backed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his coaching staff at this fan forum. So this is a couple of quotes from John Murtough. He said, quote, "We believe we've got the talent and the character within the squad to succeed. We need to keep control. Don't get carried away. Don't deviate from our plan. Ole and the staff are very focused on that." So once again, they're emphasizing the plan. We've got the plan. We've got a plan and we're sticking to it. He also said, and this is kind of a shot at you guys, by the way, and myself, I suppose. It says, quote, which is a shot at fans, "Don't get distracted by what's said on social media, which can sometimes create fervor and hysteria. It's part of the modern game, but we stay focused." So basically, John Murtough saying, look, we see people upset about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We see people upset with the sort of mixed start, shall we say, to the start of this season. We see that, but we're not getting distracted. We have a plan and we're sticking to it. Now, is that any surprise? No, it's not. It's not a surprise at all. It isn't. Like John Murtaugh's come out. It would be shocking if he went on a fan forum and he went, "I know, I'm pissed off. I don't want Ole in the club either. The coaching staff, I don't know what they're doing. We've just given Mike Phelan a contract. I don't know why. Kieran McCann and Michael Carrick, we're going to give those one. I don't know why either." Of course, he's not going to say that. So it shouldn't be surprising that he's come out and backed the coaching staff or anything like that. It would be interesting to know, like, they say this a lot, don't they? We're committed to a plan. We've got a plan and we're sticking to it. Okay, what's the plan then? Tell us. Be transparent. What's the plan? 2-3 years? Your plan's to win the league next year? Or is your plan to win the Champions League in a couple of years? At least put some objectives out there so at least we can judge you. We can judge if you're sticking to your plan and if you're achieving your plan and objectives or not. Because that's the problem, isn't it, with fans? When they come out and they say, we're sticking to a plan, we've got a plan in place, we're sticking to it. A 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. You go, great. What's the plan? Don't just say about this mystical plan. Don't just say, we've got something in place and we're going to stick to it. What is it? We don't know what it is. If they came out and said our plan is for this year just to make sure we finish in the top 4, us as fans would go, we should probably be doing more, but we can almost understand why they're content with what they're doing right now. But if they came out and said our plan is to win the Premier League in the next 2 years, you would say, right, you're miles off it. Even though you are 2 points off top, that could change very quickly. You're miles off it. If they came out and said our plan is to win the Champions League in the next 5 years, you would say, well, you're miles off that because that's not going to happen at the moment. And then we would say, okay, we can judge you. We can tell you you've got your plan and I guess you're sticking to it, but you're not going to get there. It's just this almighty plan. What is it? What is it? Tell us. That's what those fan forums are. And it's frustrating to me when you have these guys, whether it's John Murtough, whether it's Ed Woodward or whoever, when they come into these fan forums, one of the Glazers when they come in, and this isn't specific to Manchester United, by the way. Every single Premier League club has it when they have an executive or a director from the board. They come to these fan forums and they just chat shit for like 20 minutes of business talk, and they just kiss the fans' asses, and then the fans are like, fans are supposed to feel, oh, isn't it great that they showed up, or isn't it great that they came in through this Zoom call? Isn't it great that they came in on Skype, whatever it may be, or on Teams nowadays? Oh, they've got such a great relationship with the club. No, they don't. Of course they don't. We know they don't. But, you know, it's this case of, okay, if you're going to come in and just talk business talk or marketing talk to us and say we've got a plan, we're focused, we're determined, and use all these buzzwords like game-changing or leveling up or whatever it may be, tell us what you mean by that. Tell us what the plans actually are. Actually throw something out there, but they don't. They don't. It's just hogwash. It's nothing. So when these comments come out and they say, oh, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the team, they're focused, they're driven, we're on target, and we're going to stay on target, we've got a plan, and we can't divert from the plan or anything like that, again, it's an eye roll. You go, okay, sure. Stick to your plan. Stick to your plan. But that plan, they might have to divert from that plan if things go tits up in a couple of weeks' time, which they could. They absolutely could. So, again, whilst it shouldn't be surprising, that they've come out and backed the coaching staff, it's just, like, again, it's an eye roller. You go, okay, sure. But I would stress when it comes to stuff like this is that they have backed the coaching staff under various regimes at these kind of things. They have backed, they backed Mourinho, and I'm sure they backed Louis van Gaal, and I'm sure they backed David Moyes. We're sticking to the plan. We've got to stick to the plan. We can't divert from the plan. If push comes to shove, they will divert from that miraculous plan. Whatever that plan is, they will divert from it. Because ultimately, if Manchester United come through the next 6 weeks against these big sides and in the Champions League and it all goes wrong, they will divert from that plan because they'll be terrified. Oh my God, we're going to lose so much money because we won't be in the Champions League, or we're not going to be in Europe, or whatever it may be. Or the Glazers are going to look at it and go, well, yes, I know we just cashed out a load of these shares that we actually profited on from the Ronaldo sale. The Ronaldo deal was paid for itself in terms of us because we made money off of it. They did. That's what's crazy with the Glazers thing. They bought Ronaldo. They brought Ronaldo back to the club, big investment, and everyone went, I'm surprised the Glazers did it. And then what do? They cash out. They just made 180 million or 130 million quid for themselves right into their pocket. Paid for itself. They're like, great. But they'll be looking at Ronaldo and saying, look, we invested a lot of money actually, so we've got to actually make sure that actually starts turning into something on the pitch, not just commercially as well. So if stuff goes wrong, that plan, they will divert from it. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see because again, it's not going to happen tomorrow. That's always been my feeling when it comes to Solskjaer and that coaching team. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen the week after next. I mean, if things go catastrophically bad, maybe the end of the year. And I'm not saying that like I'm hoping for it or I'm waiting for anything like that. As a Manchester United fan, I want us to be successful. And I hope that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can turn it around because let's be honest here, the best thing for Manchester United is that somehow he turns it around and somehow we start playing attacking and attractive football and we don't have to get rid of another manager and there isn't more change at the club because we do need consistency. But if he's not the right man for the job, he's not the right man for the job. But again, it's not going to happen anytime soon. My feeling and sort of theory on it has always been that he has to either win something or do something very, very significant this season, whether it is be close in the league or be close to, we're talking Champions League semi-finals and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think if he doesn't do that, he will be judged at the end of the season. And that's when really those conversations start happening. But it feels like, again, we say this all the time. Briefly, what I do want to touch on before we wrap it up here is Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is the Premier League, the official Premier League Player of the Month for September. What do you guys think about this one? Ronaldo Player of the Month for September. I saw this, and don't get me wrong, Ronaldo had a decent month. Look, came back to the Premier League, scored twice on his debut. Great. It was an amazing day, an amazing moments. Old Trafford was bouncing. Old Trafford was buzzing. It was awesome. Now, technically, it was in the Champions League, but he scored the next game. Doesn't really count to the Premier League. Next Premier League game, he scores against West Ham. We win that game. So he scored 3 goals in the month of September. But after that, he hasn't scored any goals. In his last Premier League game, he didn't even start. So when I saw this today, and the way that it's kind of announced is that you see him in he's the Player of the Month, and they had up the FIFA Ultimate Team sort of badge thing, and he's on there. So Player of the Month, whatever. And I just thought does the Player of the Month really even mean anything at this point? Because and again, I'm a Manchester United fan. I'm very happy to see Cristiano Ronaldo named as a Player of the Month. He was not the Player of the Month for September in the Premier League. He was not the best player in the Premier League in September. And I'm trying to be as objective as possible here as a Manchester United fan. And I know this might be, sacristy to say or sacrilegious to say that a Liverpool player was probably Player of the Month, but Mo Salah was probably close to being Player of the Month as well, in my opinion. And I know it's debatable and I know it's opinion. And look, don't get me wrong, very happy that Ronaldo won Player of the Month. I think that it does prove to all of these doubters. Or some people saying David De Gea Player of the Month. Absolutely. If it had to be a United player, 100% David De Gea. But Cristiano Ronaldo Player of the Month, best player in the Premier League for September. No, I just I don't see that. I feel like that's definitely more of a commercial kind of thing there. Well, we'll have him Player of the Month. Has FIFA just come out or is it coming out? We'll have him as Player of the Month. That's a good boost to the game. You want to buy the game, and then you can have Ronaldo to be in your ultimate team and all that kind of stuff. He's getting preferential treatment, I think. But again, if it was just a United player, David De Gea absolutely would be Player of the Month. I think there are other players at other clubs as well that are just as deserving of having that role, and possibly not Cristiano Ronaldo. It's a global superstar kind of thing. It is quite a cool fact, though. When it comes to Ronaldo, this was an interesting statistic that I like. That Cristiano Ronaldo has now won the Premier League Player of the Month award 5 times. Only Sergio Aguero, Steven Gerrard and Harry Kane have won it more. Make no mistake, if he continues to score goals, if he continues to score goals and and he will, because he's Cristiano Ronaldo. He'll probably win it at least maybe one more time this season, or a couple more times. So he might break that record. I don't know, but I don't know. When it comes to that, and I saw it, I was like, again, it's you're happy for him, and you're happy because it's a Manchester United player. And when was the last time a Manchester United player won Player of the Month? It must be Bruno Fernandes, right? Bruno Fernandes, and then prior to that, I can't even think it would have been. But Bruno has won a few of them, hasn't he? Something like that. So, I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. Ronaldo getting that Ronaldo treatment. Good for him, though. Good for him. But it's just crazy that, like, he won Player of the Month. He didn't even start the last game. I know he came on, but he didn't even start the last game when he stormed off the pitch in the last game because he was frustrated. And what's crazy as well is there have been some United fans, I've seen this, that are saying that we play worse with Ronaldo. I've seen that already. You see those people that, he changes the way we attack, he slows things down, etc., etc. And it just goes to show, doesn't it, that you can never please everyone. You can have people come, like Ronaldo, come back to the club and we're happy. And already you've got some people that are like, he does slow things down, and maybe we don't play as well when he's on the pitch, and this, that, and the other thing. And it's just crazy when you think of it. But congratulations to Ronaldo. I don't think he'll be the last one he gets. And look, and I've said before, I think as well he will be. He'll be getting 25 goals in the Premier League easy this season because he's a goal scorer. That's what he does. He's an absolute goal scorer. He's still a superstar, even at the age of 36. He can still do it. He'll still continue to do it. I don't think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to bench him again anytime soon, especially after the Sir Alex Ferguson comments, right? You always start your best players. And that's what we've always got to remember. Always start your best players. But look, guys, as I mentioned, bit of a short one today. Hope you enjoy your Friday. Flex is going to be live tomorrow morning. I think it might be around the same time. It might be around the same time, like midday, or maybe just a little bit earlier than that. So Flex is going to be live tomorrow morning. And then Sunday, we're going to have a full view of everyone on, they're so much fun, those shows, the full view shows. So really excited to that. So that'll be, Flex, myself, KG, DJ, Jack, I think Cam on. So we're going to have a full house for the full view on Sunday. And just international break, isn't it? That's just the thing, isn't it? It's just always just, okay, I'll watch the international games and try and enjoy it. Although the Nations League game, especially last night's game, was excellent, wasn't it? They were fun games. So, enjoy it. Enjoy your Friday. And as always, I'll speak with you again very soon. Be sure to smash a like on the video. Again, I know this one was short. We're under 100 likes. So we got nearly 170 or over 170 people watching. So let's see if we can get up to 100 likes. We're up 62. So what's that? 38 more likes. So we can do that. We can do that easily. Come on, guys. We can do that easily. But as always, guys, I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Peace.